I'm Paul Zigo, this is Cinema for Cynics, here with Chauncey, and it's still Halloween. Cult of Chucky. It's the 7th movie in the Child's Play franchise, spanning almost 30 years. It's 29 years this year. 29 years worth of Chucky. And I gotta be honest with you, I tapped out around Bride of Chucky, which is the 4th film. I don't know, he's got a girlfriend now that's a doll. It was all just a little too funny for me. But that is what tends to happen to these slasher flicks over the course of multiple sequels. People get too familiar with the antagonist, and there's kind of a role switch. He becomes the hero. You know, Jason is the hero of the Friday the 13th franchise now, and Chucky's no different. Chucky is definitely front and center in the Chucky franchise, so much so that they stopped even calling it Child's Play after the 3rd film. They knew that Chucky was where it was at.
I just can't with this guy. I don't know whether to kill him or just take notes.
The Chucky franchise seems intent on keeping Chucky rooted in present time, in the same universe. You know, while other franchises have gone afield and sent their antagonists to space, there's no Chucky Goes to Space. There's no Chuck in the Hood. There's no Chucky Goes Back in Time. Chucky is always here and now, and he's mostly chasing the same people. And Cult of Chucky's no different. The 6-year-old kid, Andy, from the first Child's Play movie, is back as a 30-something-year-old man, still being menaced by Chucky. Nika, from the previous film, Curse of Chucky, is back, still being menaced by Chucky. And Brad Dourif reprises his role as the iconic voice of Chucky, which is consistent across all the films. That really is something that sets Chucky apart from these other franchises. The consistency of it. Now, in this film, Nika is in a mental hospital after being convinced that she's responsible for murdering her own family instead of Chucky. She's been convinced through a combination of shock therapy and hypnosis that she invented Chucky in her head and that she's this killer. We find her in a mental institution, and that's really the setting for Cult of Chucky. And the big hook is that there's now 3 Chuckies.
You know, I love being me, and I love my job. Especially the look on my victim's face when they realize in that final moment that it's all really happening.
Through a combination of random happenstance, 3 Chucky dolls end up inside of this mental institution. And I guess serial killer Charles Lee Ray, who inhabits the body of Chucky, now has the ability to multiply his soul. I always thought that he had one soul and that he had to do this magical incantation to transfer it to something else, but apparently now the magical incantation duplicates his soul, which raises a bunch of questions about why Charles Lee Ray is doing what he's doing. I mean, if that was the case, wouldn't he be out in the world, like populating people so that he could multiply his carnage? Why is he still so obsessed with infesting this doll? Especially since this movie reveals that he can infect other people. He can go into their minds and control them as Charles Lee Ray. So why isn't he out there doing that? Why is he so obsessed with Nika?
Now we're gonna try this again.
I'm not a killer.
Not yet.
While Cult of Chucky is still firmly comedy horror, it manages to be way darker than I remember The Bride of Chucky ever being. Being set in a mental hospital lets it explore themes that, a normal Chucky movie might not ever go into. All of the people in this hospital are there for a reason. A lot of them are very, very ill. And while at first they're presented as kind of happy-go-lucky crazy people, we get to see throughout the course of Cult of Chucky all of the pain and anguish at the root of why they're there. And that's something that kind of sets it apart from the other Chucky films. I mean, Cult of Chucky explores rape and mothers going crazy and smothering their own children. And it manages to do that while still remaining kind of funny.
Now, please. One last time. Come to Mommy.
So kudos to it for that. It's got some great kills in it as well. I had a great time with Cult of Chucky. Even though I've missed a few of the intervening films, I still had a lot of fun watching it. So if you have taken a break from the Chucky series or maybe never even seen one, you don't really need to have seen one to enjoy Cult of Chucky. So watch it. Watch it, right, Chauncey? And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and make sure you follow Cinema for Cynics on Twitter and Facebook. That's where we communicate with you going forward. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.